What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video, and today I am doing a few tips to help us all stay and stick to our New Year's resolutions. I think that this video will help so many people. It's that time of the year where, you know, we all make those amazing goals at the beginning of the year, and then a few weeks later those goals kind of disappear and we have fallen off once again. So I'm here to help us, you know, find ways to stick to those goals. Let's just make this year different. Let's just be different. Let's set these goals. Let's stick to them. Let's just make a promise to ourselves that we're just not going to give up. Whatever your goal may be, whether it's fitness related, you know, has to do with work or your mind or spiritually, mentally, whatever the case may be, whatever your goal is, just make a promise to yourself to stick with it. Like, let's just go into 2019 motivated and ready to just make a change, but a permanent change, not just a temporary change. So I have created a list of, I think, like 8 to 10 tips to help us all stick and maintain those goals that we are all making for 2019. I made a list, so again, I'm just gonna, oh yeah, I forgot my ring light today, so the lighting is a little iffy. I was trying to like put it in my window and I'm not feeling this right now, so. Okay, so sorry, like I said, I forgot my ring light and that lighting was not cutting it. So that's a little better. But anyways, yeah, so I made a list of a few tips that are gonna help us. So I'm gonna reference my phone just to make sure I'm hitting everything and getting everything right. So my first tip that I came up with is, let's just be realistic. Let's be realistic with ourselves. And that just means like set goals that are actually attainable. Don't just say, okay, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks or a month or whatever. Or I'm just gonna give up my absolute favorite food forever. I'm never gonna eat it again in my whole entire life. Like, that's not realistic at all. Like I always tell my clients, because I'm like a trainer and everything, start small and be attainable. Don't just jump fully into something or just be like, okay, I'm going vegetarian and I'm starting now, or I'm going completely vegan and that's just how it's going to be. Start small, work your way into things, and, you know, slowly remove things as you go along your journey. So if, for instance, it is food, you know, instead of having or eating bad the whole week, set a goal to eat good the week, and then on the weekend let yourself go. And then do that for like 2 weeks. Then the next week say, okay, I'm going to cut down my cheat meal to only 2 cheat meals this week. And then do that for a couple of weeks until you get used to that, and then cut it down to 1 cheat meal a week, and then cut it down to only having 1 cheat meal a month. Like I said, just work your way into things. Don't feel like you have to just jump full-fledged into something, because that's usually how people fail, is they just jump the ship or they jump overboard and dive right into something, and they'll do good for about a week or so, but it's just not something that's attainable and not something that you can maintain because you're just not used to it. So start slow and progress and work your way into things, no matter what that is. My second tip is to plan ahead. Make sure we have a very good and thorough plan of how we plan on reaching these goals. So I'm going to keep referencing fitness just because that's what I know best. But first say, okay, I'm going to sign up at this gym. Or if you're not even going to do a gym, like say, okay, on Monday, Tuesday, or Friday, I'm going to work out at my house or at home or at my home gym or whatever the case may be. Then I'm going to meal prep on this day. Like, just make your plan of how you're going to achieve something, because you never want to just go in it without a plan. That's with everything. So even write it down if that helps. Hold yourself accountable. Make sure when you write it down, you're actually going to do it. So don't write something down that you can't attain or maintain. Let's try not to do it last minute on December 31st. Let's do it now so we have time for it to process and sink in. And you got time to go out and get what you need to get, or go out and get that membership, or whatever the case may be. Plan now. Let's not start the day before. Other thing is outline your plan. So these are things like identify the barriers that you may think that you're going to have, such as, okay, well, if I sign up at this gym, it is a little far, so some days I may not think of, or I may not feel like driving that far. Maybe think about those things. That's a barrier, distance. and get a gym that's a little closer. Or, oh, I don't really like this food, but I'm going to meal prep it anyways. Maybe research and find some other foods that you're actually going to like that will help you stick to your diet. Don't force yourself into doing something you don't like to do. So like I said, outline your plan, identify your barriers, make sure you know what those barriers are so you can eliminate as many barriers as possible, so you eliminate excuses pretty much. So my fourth tip is identify your why. And I think this is actually one of the most important tips. Identify the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Put your goal onto something. Like, for instance, if it's me, it's like, I'm going to lose these 20 pounds for my son. Or I'm going to eat healthier because I know that, diabetes or something runs in my family. I know I have kids and a family that needs me here. So I'm going to do this, not for myself, but for them. When you pin your goals to something higher than yourself or something outside of yourself, and you have a reason for doing what you're doing, it makes sticking to your goals so much easier. And I don't even actually like using the term goal. I like using like a lifestyle change. It's more like a lifestyle change because I feel like goals are temporary. Like I said, we're shifting, and we want to shift in 2019 to permanent changes because I feel like goals, once you reach them, they're done. So let's change that. Let's not even say goals. Let's make permanent lifestyle changes. Let's attach whys to why we're doing what we're doing, and let's just, be better all around and do things for not just ourselves, but for things outside of ourselves, if that makes sense. Another really good tip is to talk about it. So tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your family, tell your friends, whoever it is. And I think this is also another very important one because it gives you someone or something that holds you accountable. These people are going to ask, and if they care about you, they're going to ask, like, hey, how are you doing with that goal of yours, or that change that you're making? Or they're just, people that will hold you accountable, people that will remind you of the reason why you're doing what you're doing. So I think that's a super important step and tip, and it'll give you like a support group, like someone you can go to that understands what you're going through, and can keep you motivated. And on that day that you don't feel like doing whatever it is, they can say, hey, no, you need to do this. So that's definitely important. Establish a community, establish a support group. Another very important tip is to reward yourself. I think that a lot of times when people start to make a change, they just think it has to be so hard and like a not happy process. And making a change should be fun. It should be rewarding. So I always tell my clients to reward yourself. If you reach a step towards your goal, if you're getting better and changing and making a difference in your life, I feel like you should reward yourself. So if it's fitness related, maybe, okay, if I lose this 10 pounds and I keep it off for a month, then I'm going to buy myself in the month a new pair of running shoes, or something like that, something that you can look forward to, something to keep you motivated. Another tip that I have is to track your progress. It's always so good, and again, I do this with my clients. I track their progress every 2 weeks. I'll track their goal, their weight, their measurements, whatever, because when they look at that paper and they see the change that they have made, like just 2 months ago I was 180 pounds, and then looking at that paper and seeing 160 pounds written on that paper, so it just does something to you. It motivates you to keep going. So whether you have to write it down, keep it in your phone, or whatever your goal and your change that you're making is, track your progress. And it's, like I said, it's so rewarding just to look at it and say, I really am making a change. So that's super important. Then another tip that I have is, like I said, don't beat yourself up. It doesn't have to be not fun. Like, changing should be fun because it's something that you want for yourself, or something that you want to do. It shouldn't be, an unhappy process. And even if you slip up sometimes or have a bad day, don't just think, oh my God, I failed. No, just pick it up right where you left off and keep going. Nobody's perfect, and it's not about perfection, and it's about consistency. It's about persistence and just pushing through and keeping going. or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Just keep going. A lot of people, you know, they fail or they mess up one day or a couple days and they think that, you know, I wasn't perfect, so I just got to stop and I'll start again sometime soon. No, pick up where you left off and just keep going. Nobody's perfect and nobody should expect you to be perfect. So that leads me to my next tip of sticking to it. It takes like 14 to 21 days, I think, to get into a habit of something. So keep that in mind when you're starting a new routine or, you know, changing. It's not going to happen right away. It's not going to feel natural to you. That routine or that habit that you're trying to get into isn't going to feel normal to you for a couple months, and it's completely fine to feel that way. But just keep that in mind. It's going to be hard at first. It's not going to be easy at first, but just know if you keep going, it will become natural, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So just remind yourself, I got to reach at least a month. Okay, let me reach another month and see what happens then. My last tip is, I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with everything else I just said, is just keep trying. Keep the bigger picture in mind. On those days where it's hard, just remind yourself of that end goal, or remind yourself of where you want to be. Remind yourself of that why. Remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, who you're doing it for. And just kind of get tired of quitting. Honestly, that's kind of where I'm at going into 2019. I'm just tired of not getting to where I want to be. I don't want to get to the end of this year and be like, all right, in 2020, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't understand why people do that, and I do it myself. Like, let's just get tired of quitting. Let's get tired of stopping. Just get tired of it and just say, I'm going to push through. I'm going to do this. Do it. At the end of the day, we all just have to do it. And we all have to remember it's not going to be easy. I think a lot of times we expect for it everything to happen so quickly and naturally, or to have a six-pack within 2 weeks. Like, be patient and remind yourself of that big picture. Remind yourself of where you're going to be if you just stick to it this time and this go around. So that is all the tips that I have for you guys, and I hope that helped a little bit. And like I said, I just had a baby, so I'm right there with you guys. I am starting over again pretty much with my body. I'm back to square one, and I have to apply all these tips to myself as well. And I'm ready. I hope you're ready, and I hope we can all just be better people in 2019. I hope we can all stick to our goals. I hope we can make changes, lifestyle changes, become healthier, happier, whatever the case may be. So, like I said, hope all that helped. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys.